All right, here we go. It's Monday night. Yep. You know what that means. That means it's time for the Big Picture Live. And y'all, some crazy stuff is going on in the world. The Catholic Church says get ready for the paranormal. I don't know what that means to you and me, but I can tell you right now it's about to get crazier than ever. Let's go. It's time for the Big Picture. All right, well, listen, it's time to welcome in, and y'all are excited to see her. I know it is the Queen. She is back.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes.
So sad that I had to miss last week.
Woo, man. What a blessing it is to have you back here.
So thankful.
And I think you had a good day today. I think things are turning.
Yeah.
So things are getting better. The prayers are working.
Yes, the prayers are working. I'm so thankful. My doctor put me on a different physical therapy path and treatment, and I began seeing immediate results. And he gave me a medication that he said would be a little stronger, and I can confirm it's definitely stronger. So,
Yep.
forgive me if I zone out at any point. I'll try to come back as quick as I can.
But I'm seeing you walk around with without the cane, and so y'all, your prayers are working.
Yes, they are.
And she's made a definite improvement.
Yep.
She's still got a while to go, but man, she's back. And boy, I was like a lost puppy last week. I was just in here all by myself.
You're kind of sad and pitiful.
I was sad and pitiful.
Made me sad.
I
I
was
was
like-
watching.
I was like, I don't know what to do now. It's different than my Bible study, but
You needed some more of this yummy coffee.
exactly. You done drank half of that thing? Good Lord.
No,
You're on fire tonight, I can tell you.
Probably not even a third of it.
Well, look, if you had to smash that like button, go ahead and do it now. Smash it. We appreciate everything you do. If you're following us on any of the platforms tonight, whether it be X, Rumble, whatever, smash it and share this broadcast. Help us build the Big Picture family, because that's how we do it. We're over 10,000 subscribers now, over 1 million views, and every one of them means you.
Yes.
That's what you did.
Yes.
So we thank you so much for that.
Both of those milestones were so exciting.
They really were. It's just mind-boggling.
It's amazing.
All right, so let's get right into it, because this was a crazy week, y'all.
Yes.
I mean, we live in Alabama, and we saw the Northern Lights.
Listen,
How in the world?
I never would have believed it.
No.
If I hadn't have, hobbled outside, and at that point I could barely walk in the dark on unlevel ground, I was asking myself, do you really need to be out here in the dark? But yes, I did, because I needed to see this for myself.
Because you was like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yes.
My daughter called me and said, have you looked outside?
And we didn't even
know about it.
we didn't realize it.
We didn't realize it. And went outside, and we looked north, and we could see it. And, of course, she was just recovering from her PT that day, wasn't it?
Yes, I was recovering from PT. And I had started this new medication, and
But you was not going to let nothing stop you.
No.
Well, let's talk about this. Strong solar storm sparks aurora lights show across northern hemisphere. Cape Canaveral, Florida, an unusual strong solar storm hitting Earth produced stunning displays of color in the skies across the northern hemisphere early Saturday, with no immediate reports of disruptions to power or communications that they want to tell us about. So it was a rare severe geomagnetic storm warning when a solar outburst reached Earth on Friday afternoon, hours sooner than expected. The effects of the Northern Lights were prominently on display in Britain, were due last through the weekend, to last through the weekend, possibly the next week. And like I said, we're in Alabama, and they were seen as far as Florida and even in the Jamaican islands.
Unreal.
I mean, it's insane, y'all, that this happened. Now, all right, so let's just go there. Let's just go ahead and go there. You asked me if I was going to go there. I'm going to go there. So today there's a narrative out that, was it HAARP? HAARP out of Alaska is
HAARP.
Okay, so has supposedly have technology that they can generate the Northern Lights and was given warnings and all that. So we don't know if it's real or not. I happen to think it was real, because our local weather guy said, and I don't know if you guys have done this or not, where you were looking at it, and I'm going to show you that it's not over yet, but he said, if you got any eclipse glasses left, go outside and put them on and look at the sun. And I did that in the middle of the day, and you could see the large, giant black spot on the sun.
Wow.
And they say that black spot on the sun that sent all this to us is 16 times the size of Earth. What?
Yeah.
That is insane.
That's crazy.
Look at these. Look at some of these pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
this is crazy, y'all. Looks like something somebody made on the computer. That is the sky, and wow, that was in Germany, and I mean all over the world. Look at that. I mean, these are bucket list things that you had to go to Alaska or something to see.
Yes.
And something happened in our lifetime. Where
maybe it is a little more dramatic in Alaska because I think you usually see multiple colors. I mean,
dancing and stuff like that.
Dancing.
Yeah.
I was very excited to see. We saw, I would say pink. Wouldn't you say pink?
Yeah, it was pink and blue. Pink and blue.
It was just amazing.
It was amazing. And
Don't know what else to say.
Well, and here's the thing: it's not over.
And let's say, were they expecting it to be a 4?
Yeah,
it was a 5.
It ended up being a 5, and that's pretty serious. So when we were hanging out at Mother's Day at our house, everybody was just showing off their pictures and
Comparing the pictures,
and we were like, "It sure was pretty," but let's not forget that was not a good thing. I mean, that was this major solar, level 5 solar storm.
You're talking about radiation.
Yeah, excessive radiation, possible triggering earthquakes, volcanoes, the pole shift, all kinds of stuff.
Could it also trigger weather events, weather extremes?
I've heard people say that. And we'll talk about that in just a minute.
So, being that it is radiation, we don't know how to measure that or what level or whatever.
Right.
I'd be curious to know how long you could be outside
Yeah.
and be in that and, be a threat to you.
Exactly. Well, NOAA is saying that strong geomagnetic storms and auroras will continue through Tuesday. At the time of this live, that's tomorrow. It says that the strongest geomagnetic storm in over 2 decades hit Earth on May 12th, Friday, causing radio blackouts and extending the northern lights to the southern United States. As of Monday, officials at NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center had warned that the geomagnetic solar storm caused by eruptions from the sun are not yet over. And it says they issued a G3, or strong geomagnetic storm warning, until 2 a.m. on Monday, while the likelihood of stronger storms has decreased and conditions are expected to gradually improve throughout the day. The center's forecast indicates that moderate to strong geomagnetic storms are still likely on Monday, with minor storms possible on Tuesday. It says the solar activity is expected to be at high levels, with more M-class and X-class flares anticipated, primarily due to flare potential of region 3664. And I thought that was interesting, 366. I was like, okay, is there any kind of way to get 666 out of that? You know how my mind works. But flares of this magnitude are not frequent. And it says it warned that users of high-frequency radio signals may experience temporary degradation of complete loss of signal in much of the sunlit side of the Earth. Now, I will say this. No one has said this, but I can tell you from my own personal experience, Friday and Saturday was major issues with Verizon. Major issues with Verizon.
Right.
I don't know if you had, where you're watching from, if you had issues, but there was major issues that happened.
Yes, and we go to Down Detector. We use that app quite frequently to see what all platforms and businesses are having problems. And yeah, there was a long list of them on Friday.
And, you know, and I don't have the article here, but I read today that multiple GPS systems were affected. Military GPS was affected. And
we certainly don't need that at this time.
No. And I don't know if some of you may have was looking for the Northern Lights last night and saw something else that you were not expecting. The Northern Lights illuminated the Starlink train. And a lot of people saw with the naked eye what looked like some kind of weird UFO up there, but that was the line of all the
I
Elon
wish
Musk
I could have
satellites.
seen that. That would have been cool.
I think it's going to be available again tonight. They're saying that it will. Whatever's happening to the sun is illuminating the Starlink train.
Now, I did see that before we moved to where we are now. One of the first times that maybe the very first time that they told you to go outside tonight, you will be able to see it.
Yep.
And I did see it then. That's, I don't know, probably 4 years ago.
Right. And I've heard rumors that Elon was worried that they were going to be able to survive the radiation.
I think I would be concerned too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so just a couple of random things here that's just something to be concerned about. Boeing 737. What's going on with Boeing?
Exactly.
Skids off a runway mid-takeoff, injuring at least 10.
I wish that we had been cataloging or logging all of these problems that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And just keeping up with them, because would you say this is the fourth or fifth?
Oh, yeah, easy.
Oh, easily?
Easily.
That's what I thought.
Easily. A Boeing 737-300 aircraft reportedly caught fire and skidded across the runway of a Senegal airport, injuring at least 10 people. The passenger plane, it says the plane was departing from Blaise Dagny International Airport in the early hours of Thursday, and a total of 79 passengers, 2 pilots, 4 crew members were on board of the flight. So we've got things like this happening. We got doors flying off. We got pieces of metal flying off.
I mean, you could just say a myriad of issues for this company. And then how long is it till some people say, I'm just going to say no on this trip. It's just, if they'd had stopped at 3 or 4 incidents, maybe, but I'm not doing it. I mean, where's the breaking point? Where's the dividing line? Because that will come into play with some people at some point.
And think about the whistleblowers at Boeing.
Yes.
I mean, there's supposed to be 10 more coming out, and the first 2 that came out with major information about things that are not going on correctly at Boeing have been unalived. They're not here.
Suicided.
One of them was, you can't say that word. That's why I said unalived. One did, and the other one supposedly died of a fast-growing, weird bacteria.
Exactly. And wouldn't that, if you were a potential whistleblower, wouldn't that scare you into being quiet?
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see, are the other 10 going to just go silent?
We hope they do
get
not.
Get a deal? Wow. Yeah.
I mean, we don't fly that much, but there are certain times where you need to get a flight.
Yeah.
People don't want to be worrying about, that's another thing, but it's a very big thing.
It's a very big thing.
And, this needs to be resolved. If they need to do better quality control, they need to get that done. If this is an attempt from another party to destroy this company and it's sabotage, whatever. Let's figure this out so that we can calm the nerves of people.
Yep. Well, some other crazy stuff happened. The former president is on trial. Mm-hmm. We won't get into the salacious details of the testimony. But, boy, they just...
It's a little stormy, though, isn't it?
She's on fire tonight. The details are a little stormy. But but you know what? They can do whatever they want to do. But Trump just decides, okay, I got the day off. It's on a weekend, so I'm just going to go out to the park, see how many people I can get to come. And
were they
100,000 people showed up.
Were there free ball caps? I mean, was that a part of it too?
I don't think so.
No, it's just the love, right?
It's just the love. Y'all, the love. He's been on trial. He ain't had time to have rallies. He decides he's going to have a rally like he did in 2016. 100,000 people came together in a deep blue Democratic state of New Jersey.
Sure enough, did.
President Donald Trump drew a massive crowd for his rally in deep blue New Jersey over the weekend. It's estimated that Trump's rally at Wildwood Beach drew over 100,000 attendees. In a post on X, Trump's press secretary, Carlene Leavitt, said that there was a crowd of more than 100,000 for the rally. I mean, just look at this right here. This is just, I mean, that's a song right there. But, I mean, what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen in this election, y'all. But this is insane. I mean, there's, whatever you feel about this dude, there's never been anybody like it in our lifetime. I mean, they just keep going and keep going after him.
Yeah.
And 100,000 people shows up in the deep blue Democratic state.
So Corey Swain says he is from New Jersey. Did you attend this rally? We'd love to know if you were there.
Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this, y'all. This. Now look, I know it's going to be a political statement, but what do you think if Joe Biden was there that day and he decided he wanted to have a rally? Do you think it would look anything like that?
If they gave away French fries or hats or something, they might have got
Look at that.
So Corey says his boss, Corey wasn't there, but his boss met Trump. So
Oh my goodness,
that's pretty cool.
Look, y'all. Like I said, this is not a political show, and I'm not telling you to go vote for Donald Trump or whatever.
No.
I wanted to point that out that
The difference.
the media and the elite, in some ways, they're losing. They're losing. The people are waking up and saying, you know what? We're still going to do what we're going to do. And you know, that's what this show is about. We're going to show you just article after article after article about the things they have planned for you. And what we're trying to do is show you the big picture so that you can know what to push back against. Wow, that was just incredible. 100,000
Yes.
people.
When I when it was starting or people were still pouring in, that's what I heard, around 80,000. But then they updated that after it got going to 100,000.
Control.
Look.
The campus leader should have.
He knows how to work the crowd, y'all. Look at this. So they're out there, they're waiting, they're standing in the sun, they probably thirsty. He just says, fly the plane
Just
by.
fly over.
Let them see the Trump name.
Do a flyover.
I mean,
Well-
come on. The dude knows how to work the media, okay?
Yeah.
If he's anything, he knows.
I wonder what time he got there, if he was on time, because when we were at the NRB, he was the speaker. I can't remember what night that was, and he was very late,
Yeah.
but that was okay. The crowd was.
crowd.
We'd had a full concert. We were
Yeah.
supposed to get like 2 songs, and they kept singing and singing, and
Yep.
by the time he took the stage, everybody was just
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Wow. You know, that's a little lighthearted stuff because I got a lot of stuff
Yeah.
tonight that ain't lighthearted. So,
Where's my oil bottle?
yep, you got your oil bottle
Gotta
ready.
find that thing.
Hey, and by the way, Sandy, you weren't with us last week, but in your absence, you introduced something new, our new award that we're going to have. So we haven't done this. So at some point tonight, there's going to be something that's going to happen, and you're going to deem it. You're the judge, and you're going to award it. Show them. You're going to give them the
Golden Chicken Award.
the Golden Chicken Award. Now, we don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. She just came in here and said, we're going to have an award called the Golden Chicken Award.
That's
So-
probably super annoying.
Yeah.
I bet. What are your pets at home doing right now?
They're like, oh, I love it. I love it. Well, look, we're pastors, so stories like this really hit home with us,
Yes.
and we talked to our security team about it. It just seems like there's an increasing amount of violence in churches.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had the stabbing that happened in Australia. We had the man that brought the gun in just last week, and thankfully, and thank Jesus that it locked up and didn't work. And one of the people in the church saved him. And then again this week, parishioners at a Catholic church stopped a teen armed with a rifle from entering the church during Mass, and goes on to say that this teenager just shows up with a rifle. And thankfully, before they went in, they had security out there, and they grabbed him, took him to the ground. but they were concerned that there was another shooter inside the church. The priest, the altar boys, and all that started running, hiding behind the altars, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's what the enemy does. He works on fear,
Exactly.
and it's just like, one of the places that we've always felt like, hey, when times of trouble happen, and the world is in chaos, you go to church. Think about what happened with 9/11. I mean, when 9/11 happened, churches were packed.
Yes.
I mean, just so many things. When global tragedy happens, up until recently, churches were packed. And so now it's like the enemy realizes, hey, there's going to be masses of people there.
Yeah.
So this is a place, this is a target. So we really need to pray for our churches.
We do, but while you're talking about that, I hope that the perpetrators or would-be perpetrators realize more and more churches in this day are waking up to the fact that they need a security team.
Yeah, all right.
And, you might want to be concerned for yourself
Yeah.
if you come strolling in like that.
Well, yeah, I've talked about that on my Bible study before, and then I get comments of people saying, God, it's my time to go, it's my time to go, and where's your faith at? That doesn't sound like you got a lot of faith that God's going to protect you. Listen, the Bible says it gives you a sound mind. And when you're a pastor, do you know what the word pastor means? It means shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
It means you're taking care of the flock and shepherding. So, when you are the priest of your home, the father, the husband, one of your jobs is to protect your family.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to let just somebody just come in and just say, in the name of Jesus, I'm going to, let's just put it this way. I'm going to take care of them with what I got in my house, and then I'll pray for them. But I'm not praying for them, but they come in my house. It ain't going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. Because I'm going to take care of my family. Can I get an amen, somebody?
I'll amen you.
And let me just say, I'm looking at that screen right now. I'm so happy to have you back, babe.
Oh, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah. You're looking good, babe.
Thanks.
I think you're a keeper.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, y'all know we it's coming up on our
At
anniversary.
the tender anniversary of only 35 years?
35
Have I proven myself
years.
yet?
You have proven yourself. Have I proven myself?
You've proven yourself.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
You've taken really good care of me in my post-operative days.
Y'all hear that, didn't you? Yes. Let's record this for future use in case I get in trouble. But now, look, let's not forget that while all this stuff is going on, there is a war going on in Israel. There's a war going on in Ukraine. It's probably about to be a war going on in the China Sea. But this right here, this makes me mad. This infuriates me. This is further evidence that America and this administration has turned its back on Israel. This came out, and this has not been refuted. This has come out today that there's a report that the United States has been withholding sensitive intelligence on Hamas from Israel. The Biden administration working urgently to stave off a full-scale Israeli invasion of Rafah. Yeah, that's going to make your blood boil here. The Biden administration will share key intelligence with Israel about the whereabouts of Hamas leadership in Gaza if Israel agrees not to go ahead with its military operation in Rafah. This is unbelievable.
That's a crazy condition.
This is blackmail. The Biden administration, working urgently to stave off a full-scale Israeli invasion of Rafah, is offering Israel valuable assistance if it holds back, including sensitive intelligence to help the Israeli military pinpoint the location of Hamas leaders and find the group's hidden tunnels, according to 4 people familiar with the U.S. offers. The United States is seeking to delay the operation, concerned that Israel is not doing enough to ensure the safety of the over 1 million Gazans sheltered in Rafah should a full-scale invasion move forward, according to the sources cited. So let's just make it clear what this is saying. They know where the leaders of Hamas are, and they know where the tunnels are, and they have known, and they are using it as a tool to negotiate or demand from Israel, hey, if you really want to know these people that you're there to get, that you've told us you're there to get these people, we know where they're at. And we know the tunnels. We have a schematic of the tunnels.
Can you believe
Unbelievable.
our country is doing this? I mean, we are just putting ourselves more and more, opening ourselves wide up to judgment.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm with you. I cannot believe our country is doing this and coming right out and saying it.
Well,
And putting this condition out there like this.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, if I'm Netanyahu, and I don't know if you heard it, Netanyahu came out this week and said, because it was in response to them saying, we're going to withhold the ammunition from you and so forth. He said, well, you know what? Here's the bottom line. If we got to go on our own, we'll go on our own.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, he just made it clear, you're not stopping us from finishing this, because here's the thing. Whether Biden's the president, Trump's the president, whoever's the president, they're not living in Israel. Netanyahu is speaking for the people of Israel, and he's saying, if we don't, thank you for that super chat, by the way, Diane.
Yes,
thank you. And
amazing. Wow.
So yes, thank you so much. And but he's basically saying, look, I have these are my people, and we know how this Hamas systems work. If we do not finish the job, if we leave a sliver of Hamas leadership in place, and military in place, they will regrow and they will rebuild, and we'll be back here again.
And Netanyahu is saying this when his own liberty is possibly at stake.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard anybody other than Mike from around the world talk about there's certain people, a faction, whatever, they're ready to go in and arrest him and remove him.
Yeah. Well, what do they call that in Hague? The global council or whatever, they've already issued an arrest warrant for him for crimes against humanity. Y'all, you're being played. You're being played. Now look, is there horrible tragedies that have happened? Yes. Is there innocent civilians that have died? Yes. But the truth is, when you start hearing things like these college students saying that it's genocide, what they're doing. No, genocide is when you just don't worry about anything and you just wipe out a race. If anything, this is this is war. Okay, when you're in war and you've been attacked and you retaliate in war, it's horrible to say, but innocent people are hit in war. But genocide is when you just go in and eliminate. You don't drop leaflets.
There's no warnings, and certainly a time period was given for people to move, to get out. I know that's harsh. Grab what you can and get out. That seems terrible, but it's better than no warning.
Yes.
And just open, cold-blooded attack. There has been food brought in to try to assist and aid and help these people for whatever reasons. They were locked up or set aside. They were not delivered. They were not distributed.
Well, this week, the Hamas leadership, you won't hear this anywhere else, and it's hard to find this video. How can I say it this way without getting flagged? Eliminated their own people when they didn't line up for aid the way they were supposed to, and felt like that they were jumping line. Several of them were taken out by Hamas at the food distribution centers.
Wow. Yeah, that'll help you fall in line.
Yeah.
Not only are you starving, but you are in threat of immediate assassination right here in front of everybody.
Exactly. It's the world we live in, and we're being told that that it is genocide. But look, we covered this last week, and we won't spend a lot of time on it tonight. But all those college protests, those were all distractions. 90% of those students had no idea what they were even doing. They were just jumping on the bandwagon. But you got 10 to 15% that were paid, trained. I watched a video that somebody sent a drone over. I believe it was Howard University. It's one of the upscale universities, and they were in the quad. And they were practicing and being trained on how to push against police.
Wow.
They had people dressed up and pretending to be police. They were rehearsing, and they were being trained by a group of people that were obviously not students. Y'all, we're being played here. We're being played because this is a distraction against a lot of things. But in this country, inflation, struggles of people, got the election coming. So when you got all this other stuff that takes over all the news, you can't talk about how people are struggling. You can't talk about the election. That's where we're going.
Well, during the when they turned Seattle into Chad, there was a young man who took a video of a protest where certain people ran in, set a police car on fire, I believe.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
And he broke it down point by point. He's like, watch this guy. This guy's going to come in from the left. He's going to jump on top of the car. He's going to spray some kind of accelerant. These two people are going to move from over here. And he laid out the entire coordinated event, step by step. And I was very impressed with that because, we were believing back then how could you not believe that was coordinated?
Yeah, right.
The way they took over part of a city.
Yeah.
And was allowed to do so.
Yeah. If y'all still, I saw this video pop up again this week where the guys were busting out a window at NYU, I believe it was, or it might have been Columbia, with a hammer. And the door accidentally came open and they shut the door again.
You told me about
I watched it again today. And it was already unlocked, and it was just for pictures. It's ridiculous that we're being played by that. Wow. But it goes deeper. Today, Fox News is reporting that Blinken delivers the strongest public rebuke of Israel yet. Basically says the words, quote, "Get out of Gaza." I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. It says Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on Sunday delivered one of the Biden administration's strongest public rebukes of Israel amid the war with Hamas in Gaza. During a pair of TV interviews, Blinken said the United States wants Israeli forces to, quote, "get out of Gaza," amid what he describes as, quote, "a horrible loss of life of innocent civilians." He also said Israel's tactics in the war have failed to neutralize Hamas and could create a power vacuum in the Palestinian territory. So when asked about the U.S. withholding his high payload bombs to Israel, America's ally, Blinken said, "We believe two things. One, you have to have a clear, credible plan to protect civilians, which we haven't seen. Second, we also need to see a plan for what happens after this conflict in Gaza is over, and we still haven't seen that because we are what we are seeing right now. We're seeing parts of Gaza that Israel has cleared out of Hamas, where Hamas is coming back, including the north, including the Khan Yunis." But here's the thing. His own words shows you that he doesn't believe this is a war. Because in a war, you don't have to submit to another country. Think about this. That would be like America being invaded militarily, and an October 7th event like type thing happened in our country, and then Canada or the United Kingdom telling us how we have to systematically respond to the attackers. That's ridiculous.
The audacity, right.
How dare you?
I know. That is a how dare you moment.
It's just ridiculous. And look, let's just not forget that who we are. We are preachers of the gospel. We are pastors of a church. So we took it back to the Word of God, and the covenant with Abraham is eternal. Okay, that's what he said.
Yes.
He said it has no end. He says, "I will bless them that bless you.
There you go.
And curse them that curse you."
Yeah, which is exactly why I said we may be in danger of judgment.
Yes.
If we keep going down this path.
Absolutely.
And not being Israel's friend.
Can you do us a favor? Can you hit that share button? Just copy it and just take a second and share this to somebody right now and help us build this big. Let's load this thing up, y'all. Some of the things that we're about to talk about deserves to be seen by the world. Yep. So let us continue. One more thing about Gaza. I'm actually going to be in Chicago for a pastor's conference, so this caught my attention. This happened this week, y'all. Gaza activists raised the Palestinian flag higher than the American flag in Chicago's Daily Plaza. Y'all, this is beyond pro-Palestinian.
Yes.
You're in the United States of America, and it is American statute that you do not raise any flag in America above the American flag. On Saturday afternoon, protesters in Chicago raised the Palestinian flag above the American flag at Daley Plaza in demonstration organized by the American Muslims for Palestine. Video footage posted on X showed the moment the activists raised the Palestinian flag higher than the American flag. So who's paying for this? Look at this giant flag. I don't know what that song is. Probably some kind of Palestinian song. But look, there's the American flag. Look how small it is.
Yes.
And then there it goes. Higher. Flying higher. Unbelievable. There again, this is the United States of America. That is, we're not against the Palestinian people.
No.
We want the Palestinian people to have a good life. But you don't fly the Palestinian flag. What do you think would happen if somebody flew the Chinese flag right there? How would you feel if you flew the Russian flag? If somebody just decided to fly the Russian flag right there in Chicago Plaza? Now, some people say, yeah, but but Russia and China and all that is not enduring what the Palestinian people are enduring. I understand that. Secondly, can I say something without sounding just mean and harsh? Palestine is not a nation. They have a flag, yes, but they are not a nation.
Good point.
You better help me out here because I'm about to get
These
crunk.
stories are crazy. I mean, so many things you didn't think you would see.
Absolutely.
And they're just happening.
Yeah.
And nobody's stepping up and doing the right thing and taking control of this, like the whole thing about the college campuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the protesters making demands.
Oh. They wanted vegetarian,
Yeah.
non-GMO.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other term was. Their type of food that they're used to shipped in and brought to them inside the buildings.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, a little privilege. Okay. Hey, what about this? I forgot about this one. Look, if you ever wanted evidence that you don't need to go by what you first hear, of all places, the United Nations just this week cut its estimate of children killed in Gaza by 50%, blames fog of war for errors. So how many people, how many news organization has repeated the numbers over and over again of when this first started? Look at this. On May 6th, the United Nations published data showing that 34,735 people had reportedly been killed in Gaza, including over 9,500 women and 14,500 children. On May 8th, the UN published data showing 34,844 people had been reportedly killed, including 9,509 women and 7,797 children. Now, one is too many. I'll get that. But this is just further evidence that the leading voices, the United Nations, that is voting against this and wanting to sanction Israel, throwing out the genocidal numbers is what they call it. Their numbers are not correct. So what other numbers are not correct?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. That's where I'm at. What do you believe? Can anybody in the live chat tell me, other than, of course, the big picture, because I know you trust the big picture, what is there a news organization that you feel like when you hear a number that you can trust that number, or are you like me and Sandy, the first response is, yeah, but I don't know if I trust what they're saying?
Exactly. because I saw this morning or last night on Fox News that they were admitting to 10 million immigrants coming into the country since Biden took office. So what I say to myself is, if they're admitting to that many,
Right.
could there be actually a lot more?
Exactly. I want to show you, this is the video that I was talking about. I want you to see this right here. This is actually Emory University.
Wow.
I mean, how many times have you seen this? Just look just like this. They're being trained at the college. How to break through the crowds, how to disperse immediately,
Goodness.
how to fight. Wow. This is just part of an article that shows all the different examples. You can go to Wine Press News and you can see this article. Video captures pro-Palestinian protesters on campus practicing police resistance tactics. These are all different universities. Oh, I love this one right here. This is like a little meme here, y'all. This is sad, but also a little bit funny. It's called, I don't know if you can see it. It says, "The UCLA janitor showing up for work this morning." Of course, that's Rick from The Walking Dead. But look at what they left.
Oh, no, no, no.
What
Look
a
at that.
mess.
Oh, but they love the environment. They love the environment. Look at all that trash. You okay, babe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet mommy and daddy didn't think they were spending their hard-earned money for that kind of learning.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some of them hope that they did because mom and daddy's worse off than them. That's not all of them, but some of them are. Well, let's not forget there's another war going on in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
And just this week is report that Russia's forces have pushed deeper into northern Ukraine. A Ukrainian military unit said that its troops were forced to retreat from several positions that one settlement had been captured by Russian forces. Article goes on to say that the Ukrainian troops sent on a retreat, according to the Russian and Ukrainian militaries. Russian defense military said on Sunday that its troops had captured 4 more settlements, all but one located directly north of Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city, as they pressed ahead with a new offensive launched on Friday. Aid workers confirmed that Russian troops had advanced deeper inside Ukrainian territory and were now threatening several small towns on the outskirts of Kharkiv. And it says the unit fighting in the area said the Russian forces were pushing hard from the Russian-Ukraine border towards Kharkiv. Today, during heavy fighting, our defenders were forced to withdraw from a few more of their positions, and today another settlement has been completely under Russian control. The Russians are dying in droves, but they are pressing on regardless and succeeding in some areas. The article goes on to say that this person talks about how many Russians are dying, but not how many Ukrainians are. They never released that number. But Ukraine's outnumbered and outgunned troops were already stretched out during trying to defend a 600-mile front running from south of Kharkiv to the city of Kherson on the Black Sea. The Russians have understood just as a lot of analysts have, that the major disadvantage that Ukraine is currently suffering from is manpower. Well, the reason you're suffering from manpower is because you've lost so many soldiers. And, of course, Vladimir Zelensky took advantage in this article to say this is further evidence why we need more money. You know, I hate to say it, but that's a money thing with him. Yes. And it's, you don't want to see Russia win, but I don't know. I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist, but it seems like the war has basically already been lost. What's your opinion on it?
I have to feel the same way. And it's hard for us over here because we don't see the video or the pictures. You don't know if you can believe anything that they're telling you. You know, we don't have anybody. It's not like boots are on the ground and they're able to report from the location.
Yes.
Have you seen one of those? And
No. When's the last time you've seen any kind of embedded
Yes.
reporter?
Exactly.
There's no embedded reporters that are reporting back.
Yeah.
But they are in Israel, and they are at the
Yes.
college campuses.
Exactly.
I mean, they're all this kind. But the one nation that our nation and other nations are giving more money to than any nation in the world, we don't see any coverage of that war.
No. And after we gave them the 60 whatever billion,
Yeah,
it was just days after they were already asking for more money.
exactly. While we are threatening our ally in Israel to withhold ammunition, withhold aid, and withhold intelligence.
Yeah.
In fact, if you really want to go there, let's go there. That is what one of the impeachments that happened against Donald Trump, because they accused him of threatening to withhold aid if he did not get from them what he wanted, and he was impeached. This is exactly what Biden is doing.
Yes.
No one is calling for impeachment.
No, of course not.
I think one of the reasons they're not calling for impeachment is I don't believe they think he's going to be either running and or becoming the president.
Well, it's not too much longer, and we'll figure that out.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll know.
Exactly. You know, one of the things that we keep hearing is whatever we're going to do, we're not going to let Iran become a nuclear threat and have a nuclear weapon. Well, guess what? An Iranian lawmaker slipped up and said the quiet thing out loud this week and says that Iran possesses nuclear weapons already. Iran's purported possession of nuclear weapons was leaked by Ardestini, and he justified it by arguing that it enhances deterrence capabilities, particularly in the face of perceived threats from the U.S. and Israel. In a startling declaration, an Iranian lawmaker has asserted that the Islamic Republic of Iran possesses atomic weapons, but has refrained from officially acknowledging it. What is it?
Never mind.
Okay. Are you okay, babe? I thought, what is going on here? Okay.
This little thing is printing a label.
Okay. The revelation comes amid ongoing international scrutiny over Iran's nuclear program and its compliance with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Okay. He says, in my opinion, we have achieved nuclear weapons, but we do not announce it, he said. He further elaborated that while possessing nuclear bombs aligns with Iran's policy, the country's official stance remains within the framework of the deal, so that they can say that, you know, we don't have it. But now they're saying, okay, let's go ahead and just let it out. We do have nuclear weapons. So you know, if that's true, and I don't know if I believe it, because I believe that if that is true, Israel would have known that. And I don't believe Israel would have not bombed that and removed that, because that's their only threat of being annihilated, Iran having a nuclear weapon and feeling like that they need to launch that at Israel.
But let's be real. How long do you think they've really had nuclear capabilities?
Probably a long time.
Yeah.
Probably a long time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've talked about the fact that Iran just has this, you know, this narrative they've allowed to get out that they look like a third world country, that they're, you know, just they're stuck in the ancient Bible times and they don't want any technology. But then you hear that they are the number one producer of drones in the world.
Right.
That they have supposedly have earthquake-causing technology, underground bunkers, underground labs, some of the most sophisticated nuclear and scientists and engineers in the world in Iran. Okay, y'all, let's make no mistake about it. All of this is just a narrative that is spun.
Yep, I believe so.
Well, you were talking about earlier about the demands of some of these encampments. Look at this one that came in Denver. Denver migrants, these are migrants. These are not the college students. These are illegal aliens who crossed across the border. They have sent a letter to the mayor of Denver, a list of 13 demands, as they refuse to clear the encampment and move into a shelter. Denver migrants, they want to call them migrants, but they're illegal aliens, sent Mayor Mike Johnston a list of 13 demands, and it says that they say the city must meet these needs before they leave their packed encampments and head into shelters. The group refused to budge until their extensive list, which includes access to a free immigration lawyer and fresh cooking ingredients, is met as they battle with the Denver Human Services. The migrants, consisting of families living under a bridge and near train tracks, issued the demands after the Democratic mayor, Mike Johnston, petitioned to have the group moved. The group's top demand was that they, quote, were able to cook their own food with fresh, culturally appropriate ingredients provided by the city instead of pre-made meals: rice, chicken, flour, oil, butter, tomatoes, onions, etc. Also, people will not be punished for bringing in and eating outside food. This is what was shared with us. It goes on to give, I believe, the list. I will not do all the list, but the food that we talked about. They want shower access to be available without time limits and can be accessed whenever. We are not in the military. We're civilians, they said. Medical professional visits will happen regularly, and referrals, connections for specialty care. All we receive the same housing support that have been offered to others. They cannot kick people out for 30 days without something stable. Needs to be a clear just process before exiting someone for any reason. All shelter residents will receive connection to employment support, including work permit application. These are demands that illegal aliens that have crossed the southern border are demanding of a United States city's mayor, that they will be provided or they will not comply with what they're telling them to do. Transportation for all children to and from schools must be provided. No separating families regarding a family member's children or not. The camp will stay together, they said. And the city must schedule a meeting with the mayor and those directly involved in running the newcomer. You heard that term lately?
Yes,
that's what they call it now. Newcomer program. The newcomers. Sandy, they're just newcomers.
They're just newcomers.
Welcome to the newcomers.
Exactly.
I need a drink.
This demands tactic that's going on, that's being used across different groups and agendas.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Why don't we demand something?
Yeah. Why don't we?
Why can't we demand something? I demand, what can we demand? Y'all give me some suggestions in the live chat and in the comments below if you're watching the replay. What are some of the things that we, as American citizens, should demand of our government? I mean, don't you want to eat healthy?
Yes.
I don't want no processed foods. I demand the mayor of Birmingham, if you're watching me right now, Mayor Woodfin, I know you, you know me, we're friends. I demand the mayor of Birmingham ship to my house fresh, organic, no GMOs. I need some grass-fed beef and some range chickens. I don't want no chickens that's been in a cage, Sandy. I demand
Cage-free, of course.
Cage-free chickens.
What is it they do to that Kobe beef in Japan? They're massaged daily or something?
Oh, I want some massaged cow beef. Bring me some beef that's been massaged.
Yeah. You get that ready and send that off to
I demand
to
it.
the mayor, and let's see what he says.
I
See what
demand
his
it.
response is.
I'm not leaving till I get it. Speaking of cows, a lot of bad things
I
going
was
on with
wondering
cows.
when we were going to get to this story.
Yeah, and we got some farmers and some ranchers that watch us faithfully that are in the live chat, so they know what I'm talking about. This is courtesy of Ricky Scaparo, End Time Headlines. If you don't follow him, please go follow End Time Headlines and follow his show, and he'll be our guest Thursday night, and it's going to be an amazing show. 70 dairy farm workers in Colorado are being monitored for symptoms after being exposed to bird flu virus. Not cow flu virus, bird flu virus.
And we should stress, not cows.
Yeah,
The
right.
humans.
The humans.
70 workers.
70 workers. Yeah, we're not talking about the cows. Talking about the workers. 70 human beings. Colorado health authorities closely are monitoring 70 dairy farm workers after a potential exposure to the bird flu virus on a northeastern farm. The situation follows a recent announcement of a second possible bird flu outbreak affecting a dairy herd in the state. The virus has now been detected in 36 dairy herds across 9 states, one in Colorado. As the virus transitions between birds and cattle, experts say it is at risk of mutating further, potentially enhancing its capability to infect humans. Yeah. So take us through what we have heard for over several years that experts have said about bird flu when it becomes a human transmission.
You know, this obviously could be catastrophic if it were to erupt in the fullness of its potential.
Right.
Because bird flus could be transmissible so much more quickly than, say, swine flu and all these other things, because how, birds can move over vast areas in a small amount of time. And if this ever does truly become transmissible from animal to human and then from human to human, you could see just how quickly a lot of people could be very sick.
And I believe that I think their plans are, whether it happens or not, is that for this to become the disease X that we've heard so much about. Yeah. And it's just so happens to be happening right around the beginning of the summer, which could build and build and build and escalate and escalate and escalate till all of a sudden, hey, y'all, it's not safe to stand in the line and go vote. You need to mail your ballot.
You don't want to see these things work into a perfect storm, because we're talking about hemorrhagic effects as well. You've seen the pictures of people supposedly bleeding from their eyes. That would be something very dramatic to witness, and you'd be very scared to be around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you needed evidence that what I just said about disease X and the election and shutdowns and reminiscent of the YY, how about this? Bird flu fears worsen. U.S. provides $200 million to combat threat and increase testing, recommends PPE, remember that? Monitoring more sick Americans, warns of outbreak in swine. Fears of a bird flu pandemic continue to be touted by the mainstream media and the U.S. government, with a number of departments now issuing new guidance contain the purported threat to national livestock supplies and farmers managing the fields and processing facilities. So it goes on to say that, they want to test livestock, including those cattle and swine farms, as the outbreak extends to other species. So there's just no doubt, whether it comes to fruition or not, there is an attempt, a very obvious attempt, to ramp up the fear and to ramp up the anticipation of control.
So you're talking about the murmurings we've heard in the past months about lockdowns.
Yes.
Lockdowns are coming back. They've supposedly almost perfected their contact tracing technology. You're hearing it's coming out in drips and drabs about this bird flu. It's, I think, so since it's hard for us to believe everything that we hear and see out there, it seems like it's a slow drip, right?
Yeah.
Of the bird flu narrative. And knowing that they're observing 70 people, that makes me want to stay on top.
At one farm.
At one farm. That makes me want to really stay in contact with that story and see where that goes.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they have the power in their hands and control to ramp a story up or bury it.
Yeah, and
whatever their agenda is.
Listen to this quote from one of the health officials. This virus, like all other viruses, is mutating. So we've got to have testing, got to have antivirals, and we need to have a vaccine ready to
Well,
go.
there you go. Another wah-wah.
If the virus does mutate in a way that jumps into humans on a larger level, the real worry is that the virus will jump to the human lungs, where when that has happened in other parts of the world for brief outbreaks, the mortality rates have been 25%. So we have to get ready. We have to do everything we can to limit the spread of this virus, which has gone around the world multiple times now in many different species. We're in an enviable position compared to any other time in the history of the world. Viruses are relatively simple, so coming up with a matching vaccine is entirely possible in a short period of time.
Well, that's encouraging.
It
right?
just seems like we've watched this movie before.
Yeah.
It seems like we've
There
been
you
here.
go.
Does it feel familiar to you?
Feels very familiar.
Yep, it does. Yeah. Well, one more thing about cows that is very, very important, because one of the reasons they're coming after cows is because cows, let's just tell it like it is, have a lot of gas. I don't know if this will end up being I don't think so. But y'all, what is wrong with Bill Gates? Bill Gates has paid $26.5 million for a livestock vaccine that will stop cows from farting. I'm just reading the article.
Ridiculous.
$26.5 million. There's a lot of wives out there like, man, can you give my husband a vaccine?
Now that was a good one.
Do they make a husband vaccine to keep them from farting? What
Listen,
who is this man?
he cares so much.
God, he's sick. I used to be a Windows guy. I used to think Bill Gates was a great guy. Like, look at the inventions that he made. He changed the world. He's the world's richest man.
Yep.
This man is he evil? I think he's evil. That just probably got me flagged.
Personified.
I just got flagged because Bill Gates owns it all. An investment fund founded by controversial billionaire Bill Gates raised $26.5 million for a Boston vaccine developer to reduce livestock methane gas emissions. The goal is to tackle so-called climate change by injecting animals with a vaccine that could make them fart and burp less.
Nice.
Climate activists claim that farts and burps from livestock amount to more than 5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. 5% of the total greenhouse gases comes from cows
I
pooing
want to
and
know
cows
how
burping.
they arrived at that number. What was
Good
the
question.
measurement? I mean, go on.
How you gonna measure? Are you going? How you know what? I mean, think about all the cows in the world.
Yeah.
How you know when they're farting? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that word.
Yeah.
Harper, if you're listening, Papa was bad. He shouldn't have said that.
Please forgive us.
What do we say? Tooting. He made a little toot. He's tooting, Harper. The cows are tooting. That's my grandbaby, y'all. If y'all don't know.
Oh my goodness. These stories.
We want these cows to stop tooting. Stop it. And stop burping. I didn't even know cows burped. I mean, I figured they were probably tooting. But burping? Have you ever heard a cow?
Okay, enough. We're sinking down to the levels of the.
Oh, we're making our way to Uncle Jimmy, and
Oh,
it's
my-
going to be unbelievable
This
tonight.
has 666 view comments on this.
Oh, wow. We got to fire that right off the bat. This right here is, look at that number, 666 comments. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Chinese scientists create mutant Ebola virus to skirt around. Why would you do this? To skirt around biosafety rules. And it causes horrific symptoms and kills groups of hamsters. Sandy, let's make this very, very clear, what I just read to you.
Yeah.
Chinese scientists who are responsible for the Wang has now created Ebola is one of the most horrible ways to die if a human being could die.
Yes.
A virus that on its own gets around biosafety rules. That rules that people put in place to stop the spread of Ebola, they've created a virus that will not show up in those tests so they can skirt biosafety rules.
And have the maximum effect.
Exactly. Why would
for
you
killing.
do that? It's just got to be a weapon.
Yeah.
This people also conspiracy that Wuhan wasn't making what. This is evidence. This is a weapon. When you are creating a horrible virus that's already horrible enough on its own, and then you're putting within it the ability to get around being caught.
And then how does this escape? How does news of this get out so that it can be in an article? I mean,
that's true.
The whole thing is just ridiculous.
You're gonna make me not believe anything I read on here. Is that what you're trying to do? Well. Chinese scientists have engineered a virus in a lab that killed a group of hamsters. A team of researchers used a contagious disease of livestock and added a protein found in Ebola, which allows the virus to infect cells and spread throughout the human body. The group of hamsters that received the lethal injection developed severe systemic diseases, similar to those observed in human Ebola patients, including multi-organ failure. One particularly horrific symptom saw the infected hamsters developed secretions in their eyes, which impaired their vision and scabbed over the surface of their eyeballs. And it says that their goal was to find the right animal models that can safely mimic the Ebola symptoms in lab settings. And it goes on to tell that it needs to be handled in biosafety level 4. To work around this in lower security settings, scientists used a different virus, helping the virus enter and infect cells on its host and getting around the regulations. I just don't. You have to be evil to do this. This is the same demons that was on the Nazis.
Yes.
When they was experimenting on human beings.
And the fact that they're not in a level 4, but level 2. I mean, this is dangerous, that what they're messing around with, what they're experimenting with. This needs to be in the highest level of containment that it can be. So even doing that, even though they said they made it to where it could skirt the regulations to have to be in a level 4, I mean, you're playing around with people's lives here.
Exactly. Speaking about an organization that plays God with people's lives is the World Health Organization. And let's not forget, this is the month. This is the month of ratification. This is from their website. This is from the World Health Organization. Governments agree to continue their steady progress on proposed pandemic agreement ahead of the World Health Assembly. And he goes on to say governments agreed to get ready on May 27th is the assembly. Governments meeting at the World Health Organization headquarters in Geneva.
That's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, agreed to resume hybrid and in-person discussions over coming weeks to advance work on critical issues, including around the proposed new global system for pathogen access and benefits sharing, i.e. life-saving vaccines, treatments, and diagnostics, pandemic prevention, and One Health, and the financial coordination needed to scale up countries' capacities to prepare for and respond to pandemics. Now, I'm not going to read all that, but go back and look at this paragraph that I just read. Part of the discussion and the finalization is the benefits sharing. We have read that part of the agreement on this show in previous weeks, And what that means is when a government of that, the fact that America, United Kingdom, Europe, and all of this have agreed to sign this, it will surrender not only many of your freedoms and your right to move about and all of this if Geneva decides that you need to be shut down. It also, in that sharing principle, is if they find out that you have more vaccines than, say, this country in Africa does, they have the right to tell you, to America, to give up your stash to other countries in this agreement that don't have the money that you have.
Yes, and how many countries signed over their rights
Yeah,
to the World Health
exactly.
Organization? I mean, it's the majority of the countries of the world.
Of the world, yeah.
I mean, we don't have a number, but
The only countries that pushed back was a few countries in Africa.
Yeah.
That was it. The rest of the world has just said, yeah, let's do it. And and thank you for that super chat, Leila.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, it's coming. It's a power grab. And I want to show you one more thing on that, a different article, but it brings out something. The proposed amendments to the international health regulations give the WHO Director General the authority to declare not just an actual, but a potential international public health emergency and set out binding recommendations on how to address it, whether individual states agree with him or not. He has the right to declare a potential international public health emergency. Worse, no criticism of the new WHO regime and its decisions to declare potential or actual pandemics, lockdowns, and treatment, including vaccines, will be allowed under the amended IHR. In other words, the government lies, obfuscations, and cover-ups that so dominated the last wah will become normalized and all criticism outlawed globally. And the Biden administration says, where do I sign?
Yeah.
United Kingdom, where do I sign? Germany, where do I sign?
Exactly. So what we're doing right here will be against the law.
Right. What we're doing right now would be against the law. Yep. And can I tell you something about this guy here? I think he's making out with somebody from China here. See what this is. Who is that? It says he's not an elected, has no democratic legitimacy, is not accountable to anyone, and has no control mechanism to restrain his reach. That's him, I think, with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing on January 28th, 2020. 2020? Look at them. There's no mask.
Yeah, you're right.
January 2020. What? Look at them. He is a doctor, but he's not even a medical doctor. He is a doctor of literacy or something like that. And he's leading the World Health Organization. I don't know if it's literacy, but he's not a physician. He's not an actual doctor. And he's leading this pandemic treaty that is going to give him global powers to override your country.
Yes.
This is stupid. People have lost their minds.
You got it. Never would have believed this 5 years ago.
Never.
Probably 3.
Well, we opened the show talking about the sun and the Northern Lights and the potential that's being said about HAARP generating fake Northern Lights with their experiments that they're doing in the sky, which we're at the place now where like, yep, it's possible. It's very possible. I remember when you first started telling me when I was still sound asleep and I wasn't awake yet, you'd be like, did you see the sky today? I was like, yeah. And you're like, no, did you see it? There's X's everywhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? Heaven knows, there's so many people that was like me. They're just going through life. They never even look up.
Don't look up.
Don't look up. And I started looking up, and you started really telling me some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that is a little strange. I mean, then I started thinking, it's been a long time since I just seen real clouds. Have you ever thought about, when's the last time, remember the clouds from when you was a kid that had the shapes, and you could drive down the road, you look over here, you'd see a dog, you look over here, you'd see Santa Claus. I mean, it was just puffy clouds and shapes. Now it's just gray. It's X, 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 and then it just goes gray. Well, so that's, of course, known as chemtrails. But now they're coming out and saying that's called cloud seeding. They're beginning to roll out admission to it because they can't keep it quiet. But look what happened in Dubai.
Yes.
The flooding that
multiple times, at least twice.
And then Brazil. I don't know if you know, the same thing happened in Brazil. Very, very similar. And they're doing cloud seeding as well. Well, this is an alarming article here. Geoterrorism alert. Weather warfare is the preferred method of terrorist attack by the NWO globalist cabal. The geoengineers have always enjoyed plausible deniability, especially during the historical bad weather seasons of the targeted city or state. This article goes on to say, Sandy, that this is a bombshell report, video presentation of a May 2nd, 2024, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida tearing apart the New World Order globalist agenda in Florida. For those that didn't watch it, we'll summarize. DeSantis went on a list of staggering number of extremely aggressive gubernatorial initiatives and legislative achievements, each of which demolished various NWO or New World Order, I just got the blue box down below us by saying that, scheme plans for all 50 states. He goes on to say, this article goes on to say right here, openly combative public posture will not be tolerated by, look what he said. I'm not going to say that. I thought of you when you said the heifers and the wefers. He calls them something else.
Yeah.
And Davos meddlers. So as punishment, the NWO geoengineers routinely aim their most powerful and destructive weather weaponry at conservative states.
Wow.
Like Florida and Texas. And it starts talking about tornadoes. It starts talking about hurricanes and all this, how they are predominantly hitting these red states. What is your opinion on that? Have you ever heard any of your people talking about specific states being targeted?
Yes, but not a lot. But certainly over the last 5 to 7 years, some of these hurricanes, such as Houston, Puerto Rico, parts of Florida. I mean, just last year, they had the hurricane that hit one of the most affluent, if not the most affluent part of Florida. And, it just didn't seem like it was going to hit there, that it was going to be that bad, but major destruction. And it's almost like they have the capability to intensify hurricanes, steer hurricanes, maybe tornadoes, the same mechanism. Maybe these blizzards and snowstorms. I mean, it just appears that certain areas are just getting massive amounts of destruction.
Yeah, and they do have tornadoes, but you don't hear a lot of tornadoes happening in Florida like you do in Alabama and so other places out in Oklahoma and Texas. But look at this. 3 unusually powerful tornadoes, including an EF3, struck Tallahassee, Florida, 8 days after DeSantis' epic speech of defiance. 3 days. 3 days. I mean, 8 days, three tornadoes. Did not only do a lot of serious damage all over Leon County, but also caused much destruction throughout the Big Bend, a.k.a. the Florida Panhandle. So, who knows if it's true or not, but
right.
I think it's, at this point, I mean, look at this graphic here. I mean, this is just an unusual-looking line of storms.
That's the storm system that they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, when's the last time you saw a line like that all the way across? Not going from left to right and up like this, but just straight across with no variation. It is a very strange thing to see.
Yes. We had 2 solid weeks of tornadoes in the Midwest, right?
Oh,
just
bad
seemed like
ones. Very
back
bad
to
ones.
back to back.
Yeah, very bad tornadoes. Well, you remember when Elon Musk said, we don't have a population problem where we need to depopulate?
Yeah.
He said, let me tell you right now, we need more babies.
Yeah.
Well, look what's now being said out loud. Suddenly, there's not enough babies. And the whole world, all of a sudden, is alarmed. The world is at a startling demographic milestone. Demographic.
This is
Hey, maybe
straight up demographic.
Yeah. Are you a Democrat?
Demographic.
I've never heard that term. I think I just invented a new word again. Sometime soon, the global fertility rate will drop below the point needed to keep population constant. It may have already happened. Fertility is falling almost everywhere for women across all levels of income, education, and labor force participation. The falling birth rates come with huge implications for the way people live, how economies grow, and how the standing of the world's superpowers exists. In high-income nations, fertility fell below replacement in the 1970s and took a leg down during the pandemic. It's dropping in developing countries too. India surpassed China as the most populous country last year, yet its fertility is now below replacement.
My goodness.
Well, I mean, we know that more and more people are choosing not to have children. More and more.
Or they're just waiting till they're older, later in life.
Yep. And then, of course, there is the thought that there's something in our water, there's something in our air that's affecting male and female infertility.
Yes.
And then, of course, you have the I don't know what to call it, the redefinition of family, where you've got people that are married now that can't have babies.
Right.
So it's just like more, and that number's rising. So, yeah, it's a part of the demonic agenda because, the powers that be want to remove the number of people. Am I right?
Absolutely. Population, decreasing a population is a big agenda.
And, we got to think about the climate all the time. So there's always great inventions coming. Someone has now invented a vacuum cleaner. This is real. The world's largest vacuum to suck carbon out of the air has just opened. I don't even know what to say here. This technology is, quote, fraught.
You should have done this story right after the cow methane story.
That would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect.
The cow poots, but don't worry, we got a machine that's going to suck out the cow poots in the air.
We're going to capture that methane so we can use it. Nice.
What do y'all think about that?
Good sound effects.
The technology is fraught with uncertainties and ecological risks. Director of the Fossil Economy Program, never heard of that, at the Center of the International Environmental Law, speaking about the carbon capture generally. The world's largest plant designed to suck planet-eating pollution out of the atmosphere like a giant vacuum began operating in Iceland on Wednesday. Mammoth is the second commercial direct air capture plant opened by Swiss company. There's them Swiss again, them Switzerland people, I'm telling you. Climate Works in the country and is 10 times bigger than its predecessor, Orca, which started running in 21. So here's what it does. It captures it, and then it filters it, and then it shoots it into the ground, underground. I mean, there can't be any problems with that, right? It could be explosive. It could cause earthquakes. Look, it says Mammoth will be able to pull 36,000 tons of carbon from the atmosphere a year at full capacity. That's equivalent to taking 7,800 gas-powered cars off the road for a year. In the grand scheme of how many cars are in the world, boy, that's a lot, I guess. It says it did not give an exact cost for each ton of carbon removed, but said it was closer to $1,000 a ton than $100 a ton, the latter of which was widely seen as the key threshold for making the technology affordable and viable. But it goes on to say that that's what it does. It sucks it out of the air, and I don't know. I know everybody's so excited about this. Let's watch a little video.
The world's largest vacuum designed to suck planet heating pollution has just opened in Iceland. Mammoth runs off of clean geothermal energy to pull 36,000 tons of carbon from the atmosphere. That's equivalent to taking around 7,800 gas-powered cars off the road for a year. The technology is designed to suck in air, strip out the carbon using chemicals, and then send the carbon underground where it will be naturally transformed into stone. Wow.
Okay.
It's going to be naturally transformed into stone. So we're going to be making rocks.
Yeah. Or this whole thing is a cover for an entirely different thing going on. And we're taking that money and we're using it for whatever's actually going on.
Sandy, I don't believe they would do that.
You don't think they would do that?
No.
I wouldn't stoop to that.
These are people of high ethics. Maybe they're covering up for what's really going on underground, like what's happening in Antarctica. Coming soon. Full-fledged fight over natural resources in Antarctica. Our people are telling us that's been going on for a long time already, that there's been jockeying for Antarctica. America's attention to Arctic security has intensified in recent years. Our force structure has grown deliberately, a word that usually means on purpose, for this Alaskan, particularly when Russia and China practice war games with live ammunition in Alaska's fishing grounds. Deliberate can also mean slowly and not fast enough. It says in geopolitics, the Antarctic has been quiet to date, or at least less competitive. A great circle air route around the South Pole has less traffic, and southern shipping has less strategic significance to world markets and military logistics. The Antarctic Treaty System bans military activity and mineral exploitation on the southern continent. Environmental and science cooperation have been stronger at times in the South than in the North Poles. Well, this goes on to say that Russia and China are continuing, it says, believe that China and Russia may be counting on the Antarctic Treaty System to fall apart or even actively working towards its demise.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
All right, so let's pause there. Let's go back to probably the mid-50s. Probably several of you watching have seen the Admiral Richard E. Byrd, I believe. I think E was his middle initial. But he was on the Longines Chronoscope, which was a interview type show. And he said that there was enough coal to power America, I think, for 200 years.
What?
And that this land was rich with resources. So I think this was before 57, because around 57, 59, the Antarctic Treaty came into existence, where all the countries who have, what would you call it? They have their land, they have their, not encampment, but they have their area of the Antarctic, and they have to agree to not remove the natural resources from this land.
Wow.
So what you just said about Russia and China thinking that this treaty is going to break down,
Yeah, let's go back to it. I'll read it again. It says, some observers believe that China and Russia may be counting on the Antarctic Treaty System to fall apart or even actively working towards its demise.
Right.
Apparent collaboration by the two countries to block new conservation areas under the treaty may help set up a 2048 repeal of its ban on mining and energy production. This could set off global competition for natural resources and around the continent.
Now, you wonder if a power plant is being powered by coal. What are the logistics if this even breaks down to where you can remove natural resources from Antarctica? How costly is it to get those back to your homeland and put them to use. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
the countries of the world certainly signed that treaty.
But
And they've supposedly abided by the terms.
Look at
since then.
look at this part here. You said the countries of the world. China's concerns are often voiced by Americans' growing alliance with Australia, but then it goes on to say, against the backdrop of these challenges, the United States has unfortunately been reducing its Antarctic presence, and it says that has had to curtail its Antarctic research programs with over half of the 131 projects and activities funded for 23 and 24 austral summer canceled due to budget, housing, and logistical problems. So while China and Russia is upping, America is supposedly pulling out.
I find it hard to believe that we would scale back.
You would think so. Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
I don't know if I can believe that.
I agree.
Sorry.
I agree.
Because they know it's the next frontier.
Yes. And not to mention, there's a lot of talk about, those little green men and technology that's,
I thought it was the tall whites that were down there.
that's what I meant. I was just trying to sound like Cosmo.
Yeah. So lots of stories, stories of ancient technologies that they have unearthed and they are trying to fire up. Some believe that they have figured out how to fire them up. Exotic technologies that we have created ourselves. Anything, just all kinds of craziness. If there's a crazy story or narrative, you can probably find Antarctica attached to it.
Yep. So this brings us to the transition to the title of this show about preparing for paranormal and supernatural. And we're talking about supposedly paranormal and supernatural things happening in Antarctica. Well, this came out this week. We've been talking about that this was coming. But now they've made it official. The Vatican has now encouraged people, and they are bracing for a surge in supernatural events. This is crazy, y'all. When y'all really get into what is being said here by the Vatican, people have got to wonder what is in store for humanity as the home of the world's most powerful religious organization. The Vatican is preparing new guidelines on, quote, how to deal with supernatural phenomena. It's almost like a clue to what is expected to happen in the near future. As reported by Fox News, the Holy See press office announced the upcoming document will be published May 17th. That's this week, with a live stream press conference featuring the prefect for the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith, Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez. This should come as a shocking topic of discussion to Christians. Shouldn't come as a shocking topic of discussion to Christians, but it seems many today have abandoned the supernatural aspect of the Bible, even though spiritual warfare against demons, principalities, powers, rulers of darkness have often discussed topic in the Word of God. Fernandez has said in the past that the new text will come with, quote, clear guidelines and norms for the discernment of apparitions and other phenomena. Listen to the wording of the Catholic Church.
Yes.
I want to read that again. This document that is going to be released at a press conference from the Vatican, live streamed this week on the 17th, quote, will have clear guidelines and norms for the discernment of apparitions and other phenomena, as reported by the National Catholic Register. Well, good on the Catholic Church for at least recognizing the significance between spiritual warfare and realm and its effect on the natural. But Christians who do not subscribe to the Catholic view of Christianity need to be aware that these are worded and phrased a bit differently than your mainline Protestant, because they're talking about apparitions of Mary and things like that. But this is what I think is happening here. This is Charisma Magazine reporting on it, but you can click on, I believe right here. Let me see if this is it. I think in here it has the actual link to the Catholic, and maybe not, but you can find it. It's very easy to find, and you can find it linked to the Vatican's website. But Sandy, you and I have talked about how people within the Catholic Church have been saying that they are preparing for UFOs and aliens.
Yes.
They're going to be an integral part in the quote-unquote disclosure. And what was it that you told me years ago that somebody said within the Catholic Church about baptism?
Tom Horn, who has passed away since last October, he had several books, like Petrus Romanus, I think was one of them, The Last Pope, and some other books. And many of you probably follow Tom Horn, but he said that we would be baptizing the aliens, but somehow that narrative got changed around to they, as our progenitors, would actually be baptizing us.
What does the term progenitors mean?
Creators.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yes.
So I have often said on this show and Bible study as well as our programs that I can foresee something like the show V happening, to where there's going to be a press conference at a United Nations place or at the United States.
Right.
It's going to be behind an actual seal, and they're going to say, "Look, this. I believe this. What I'm trying to say is, I believe this whole thing about the Catholic Church saying this is a part of a rollout of something that they believe is coming." Yeah. Because the Vatican, let's talk about it. The Vatican is supposedly a religious headquarters, but it has its own embassy. It has its own ambassadors. Nations send ambassadors to the Vatican. It's like its own country. Okay.
It's like banking system.
Yeah. So
and one of the most important observatories, we're talking about space here.
Yeah. Might be the most powerful.
A space observatory is located in Vatican City or as part of the Vatican. But
what is its name?
Well, no, this is...
No, I'm talking about the one and the other one.
Okay, you're talking about the Mount Graham Observatory.
Yeah, that is owned by them as well.
New Mexico.
And it is called?
It's a binocular telescope, and it has a software package or some kind of part of this telescope that is the acronym Lucifer. I can't say the whole name, but I will say this. What we were talking about, aliens baptizing us, that was not an official release from the Vatican, the way the story we're talking about now. Okay. And I would say this is the, since Fatima happened in 1917, I believe, this is the most radical thing coming out of the Vatican since then, to me.
It is. Because they're spinning it that they believe there's, false made-up apparitions of Mary in all of these. They want to make sure that when we see Mary, it's the real Mary, that kind of stuff. But I believe it's more than that. I believe that it is going to be a press conference where you're standing behind a podium, where the president or the United Nations general is going to say something along this line. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry to inform you, but there is an asteroid that is life-ending asteroid. It is heading towards the world, and it will end humanity. Is an extinction event, and that is the reason why we're being forced to do what we're doing. We want you to know that we do not have the technology to divert this, but technology is available to divert this, and we can be saved, but we can only be saved by, and they're going to bring out, whether it's AI generated, whether it's an actual fallen angel, whatever it is, something is going to be brought out, and the narrative is going to come out eventually. We are not of you. We are from another world. We do have the technology to save this planet. In addition to, we have the technology to solve the climate crisis, many other things, just like in V. And it's time for you to know that you continue to have your religions, you can continue to worship your gods, but the truth is, we've been here longer than you. We were the ones that put you here. We started all of this, and we seeded this. And that is what you're talking about, the progenitors.
How much of the world is ripe to receive that
Absolutely.
as the truth?
Absolutely.
And to be deceived. And by the way, if anyone wants to look in chat, scroll back a little, Delane McCurry gave the he broke down the acronym for the Lucifer telescope.
Okay, cool. I'll go back and look at that myself. So it's just wild that is where we're headed, and there's just no reason that the Catholic Church would do this unless they are preparing for something that they have been told is coming. And it's very easy to disguise it under, we need to make sure that we see Mary and we see Michael the Archangel when he shows up and all that kind of stuff.
What if this has something to do with their telescope capabilities, and they've had those telescopes trained on something in space?
Yep.
Something that, I don't know, maybe it's been here before.
Yeah.
And what happened surrounding those events were recorded. So they've just primed themselves for a repeat of history. I mean, I'm going out on a limb here, but why?
Yeah.
Why does the Vatican have the most technologically advanced telescopes, not only in Vatican City, but in Arizona, I believe is the state that Mount Graham is in. And who knows if they have these facilities in other places.
Yeah, why? Why does
What
a
are they
religion...
watching? What are they watching, and what do they know?
Yeah, exactly. What do they know, and what have they known for a long time that they have purposely kept silent? I mean, think about all the things that you hear about how gigantic the underground of Vatican is, and all the things that are stored there. Supposedly, all the gold, all the things of the Solomon's Temple, just over and over and over. They're all supposedly stored beneath the Vatican. I mean, multiple people have reported that the scene, I don't know if you've heard this, I think you have, but the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, at the very end, when they take the Ark and they just put it in a box and they put it up on a shelf.
The gigantic warehouse?
The gigantic warehouse is supposedly a relation to underneath the Vatican. That underneath the Vatican, that's what it looks like. The artifacts, all the things that are there. And if that's the case, even if it's a third of that, even if it's a percentage of that, why? Why are they storing all this stuff underground? Why are they keeping secret documents? Why do they have the most powerful telescopes in the world? And you're just supposedly a religion. I'm sorry. I'm not Catholic. I don't want to offend anybody that's Catholic. But I don't understand why you got to have that kind of power.
Are the Jesuits not their highly trained military part of?
That's what we've heard. I mean, many people have said that. I don't know how we can say the word, but they're not only highly trained military, they're supposedly highly trained to take you out.
Right.
Whatever that word you want to make up on your own that's supposed to be that.
I'm holding my tongue right now.
Yeah, me too. Because I'm telling you, we may not survive. We may not survive tonight. But you know what's good? What's good to know? Mm-hmm. Sandy? There's something good coming out of the bird flu. It's going to change the world. Something good's coming out of the bird flu.
A new protein powder?
The bird flu, many believe, are going to trigger the normalization of cricket protein in America.
So you will eat the bugs.
You will eat the bugs. And this article tells you that you are already eating the bugs. In mid-2022, this organization called Whole Cow, this is a beef organization, beef block. Listen to what they did. They set up news alerts for terms like cricket protein and cricket burgers. Since then, there have been occasional peaks with a lot of valleys in interest as Americans generally aren't excited about the prospects of getting their necessary protein from bugs.
You know what? But I see an opportunity here. Some of you rednecks might be on the edge of a success story because you could possibly parlay this into a business. Just figure out how to capture these little critters.
Hey, what about the cicadas?
And we can sell them to those wefers and heifers, and you could have a brand new business model.
But the wefers and the heifers they're not going to eat bugs. They just want you to eat bugs. That's the problem. They don't have no desire
Well, they
to eat
need
bugs.
the crickets to turn them into cricket burgers so they can sell them back to us.
Can we do something with these cicadas? I mean, there's trillions.
Right. And they're frying them up and serving them as
Our local weather guy ate them
delicious
this week.
little
I'm telling you right now, I ain't eating a cicada. I ain't eating a cicada. It says, what's happening is a greater concern for beef. It's a media and government manufacturer concern that is coinciding with the planned push for insect proteins in America. This falls into the same trend that has nutritionists claiming beef is bad for our health, journalists pretending like Americans are turning away from beef, and scientists claiming cattle are the biggest cause of global warming. Mm-hmm. Most, if not all, of our readers will not willingly partaking in eating cricket burgers. Unfortunately, that particular abomination is not the first step towards the normalization. Before cricket burgers are forced on us, they will introduce cricket and other insect proteins into the food supply that is simply mixed in with regular food. In fact, they're already doing it.
I was just about to say, do you think that they're already doing it?
They are. For example, Exo prebiotic protein bars are very popular as a dairy-free healthy snack. They are high in protein and boast 3 times more iron than spinach. Nowhere on the packaging does it mention the word cricket or insect. Instead, it lists an ingredient, acheta protein. Acheta protein is cricket powder. Those Snopes are still working on coming to that very basic conclusion. No, so they're saying undetermined. The rise of the bird flu allegedly infecting cattle has been propped up by corporate media, despite the fact that there has only been one documented case of it spreading to human in all of history.
Wow.
That case resulted in, how you say that, conjunctivitis, commonly known as pink eye. The affected individual was not hospitalized and did not have any respiratory symptoms. Nevertheless, our government and our media proxies are pretending like this is the bubonic plague. They're prepared to rapidly distribute over 100 million vaccines that are passing regulations to make it more difficult for American ranchers to survive. They're establishing the beef boogeyman, and they're prepared with a solution. Watch this commercial.
Ooh, come on.
This is a disturbing ad, but we're living in disturbing times. This is why Prepper Farms, powered by Frank Speech, which we love Frank Speech. I've been on there many times with Melissa Hooray. She's awesome. Has a limited time offer of 25%, blah, blah, blah. But let's watch this.
The beef industry takes another blow as cricket burgers win America's best burger for the 4th year in a row. This comes after many major beef processing plants have shut their doors for good.
The beef industry continues to take a dive as cricket burgers skyrocket in demand. The insatiable insects have now overtaken cows as America's favorite animal. A market change that has even caused McDonald's to
as crickets have cows are now overtaking cows as America's which means we will no longer be seeing beef cows to be put on the endangered species list.
And here's why that might not be such a bad thing. Consider this. Cows are harmful to the environment.
Cows will go extinct.
I love the part where it said the cricket lobby.
Oh, I love the part that said, crickets will not replace us.
Wow.
Woo!
But look, we laugh. But how many times have we laughed? And in a matter of weeks,
Yes.
it was real.
Yes.
That was a spoof, but that was really a spoof of what is coming. They are, do you not see they are literally trying to systematically ban cows? Not because of the climate, but because it can sustain human growth on its own. You don't have to have these chemicals being put in your body that can kill you. People have survived on meat, water, and vegetables for all eternity. Our vegetables are now no longer organic. They have chemicals built into them. You don't have any kind of legacy seeds. You cannot take the seeds and, they're only good for one time. You got to buy new seeds again because they're genetically modified.
Yep, they're not heirloom.
So that's where it's all going. Wow. Well, Sandy, I don't know about you, but I need a little longer, Jimmy.
Come out of that closet.
It's the supernatural AI update. Once again, let me just say, for those that came in late, isn't it so good to have the Queen back, y'all? Yes.
I'm so glad to be back.
You're doing great tonight.
Thanks.
She's still hurting. She's still going through a lot of things with her progression on her healing of her knee, but you are better.
I am better.
You are getting better.
Yes.
But, we talk a lot about portals. Well, watch this. Look how just flippant. They almost make it like a joke. But New York City and Dublin have unveiled a new thing called portal statues that allow real-time communication between each other. Portals are an invitation to meet people above borders and differences and experience our world as it really is, united in one. So this, look at that weird, remember we had the eyeball not long ago. Now we've got portals. So
this is a real-life portal. It can't teleport humans like in video games or movies, but it can teleport humanity to a state with more peace, love, and unity. Like this video and join us in uniting the world.
Okay, so it's a portal where they're setting up these things all over the world in major cities where it's a constant live stream camera is basically all it is. And it's a two-way camera, and they're calling it a portal. Now, I understand this is just a camera in a live stream, but I also believe this is a part of a rollout preparing us to understand what CERN is doing and some other things are doing. And, these are just some videos on it. And then, of course, I don't know if it's that one, but there was one set up in New York City, and while they're watching it, people on the other side of the world start showing images of the towers burning and falling down to people screaming in New York. So it's already gone bad.
Yeah.
So
it didn't take long.
So, yeah, that's just a part of – I just thought that was interesting to fit into that. Well, look at this here, this article. Deceitful tactics by artificial intelligence have been exposed. Meta, which is, of course, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, Meta's AI is, quote, a master of deception in a strategy game. AI's increasing capabilities at deception pose serious risk, ranging from short-term, such as fraud and election tampering, to long-term, such as losing control of AI systems.
We're just now figuring that out?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Artificial intelligence systems are fast becoming increasingly sophisticated, with engineers and developers working to make them, quote, as human as possible. Unfortunately, that can also mean lying just like a person. AI platforms are reportedly learning to deceive us in ways that have far-reaching consequences. A new study by researchers from the Center for AI Safety in San Francisco delves into the world of AI deception, exposing the risks and offering potential solutions for its growing problem.
Do you think we ever had an opportunity to make this be good and positive all the time? Was it just like a blank canvas? Evil people came in with evil intentions?
I mean, I think there's always the possibility, but I don't think it could have ever happened. I don't. In our world, we're in a fallen world. There's just no way you can have technology where a fallen world would not come in and do this. So AI is all over. Robots. Y'all have seen the robot dogs. Well, look at this. Now the robot dogs are now being tested by Marine Special Ops. Yeah. And they're putting guns on them.
That didn't take long, did it?
Did not take long at all.
Let's militarize this.
U.S. Marine Special Operations Command is evaluating new robot dogs to use in combat. The robot dogs, developed by Ghost Robotics, can be equipped with weaponized systems. Let's see, we got a little video here. We can watch the dog in action. Wow. Watch how accurate he is when he hits. Bullseye.
Wonder how many yards away that was.
Every time. Wow. Yep. That's our world we're living in, Sandy. Yep. Well, we got any comment on the robot dogs?
Well, they're just further evidence. They're going to make it where you don't have a chance to survive. So if you're not right with God, right now might be a good time to
get right with Jesus.
Make sure you get everything in order.
Yep. Got 2 more articles to show you. Of course, I'm going to save the best for last. But this one here is interesting. And this is up your alley because you've been talking about CRISPR technology for a while. But a California tech company is using AI. What could go wrong here? To maximize CRISPR DNA editing. The hope is that technology will eventually produce gene editors that are more nimble and more powerful than those that have been honed over billions of years of evolution. New AI technology is generating blueprints for microscopic biological mechanisms that can edit your DNA, pointing to a future where scientists can battle illness and diseases with even greater precision and speed them than they can today.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Sandy?
Well, it looks like art is coming to life. It's because we've watched the television series and the movies where they insert the nanobots into your bloodstream and they go to an injury or maybe diseased part of your body and heal that.
Absolutely.
With their wonderful nanobot powers. So I've been hearing about people doing their own experiments in their basements with this CRISPR gene editing technology. They're doing things to foods, to plants, to animals. They're trying to alter themselves, like improve their vision, bulk up, become faster, so on and so on and so on. So what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
Right?
What could possibly go wrong? Speaking of what could possibly go wrong, I got one more thing I want to show you, and I'll be back.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
We ain't woke, we're certainly awake. And one other thing that we want to make sure we point out is, several of you have done this, but, we have the solar storm. They're not over yet. And one thing that we didn't think we would be able to say that we were glad that we did it this quick, but we realized how happy we were when we built our house during the pandemic that we installed the EMP Shield on our house, which protects against EMPs coming from the sun, military, whatever, but it's mainly to protect your house from these electronic waves that are coming. And we do have the EMP Shield on our house. We installed it in our construction. It is on our breaker panel. And if you don't know anything about the EMP Shield, all you have to do is go right down. There's a link in the description of this video where you can click it. And just a small portion of that blesses the ministry, but it goes to, of course, Stan Deo's company that he founded with another gentleman. But they created this technology to protect your house, your cars, your boats, your RVs. All of that is there. And if you use that link down below, it's the same price as you would go. And by the way, you get a discount by doing that. And it's and you can help the show too. Any comment on the EMP Shield real quick before we show this last thing?
Listen, I am definitely glad that we did this. I was pretty adamant during the construction of the house that we're in now that we do this. Because there was a little bit of talk about CMEs and all these different things then, but now we're actually seeing this increased activity from the sun, and it just gives you a layer of protection for your home, which is most likely your biggest investment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this article here, this OpenAI is just exploding in speed. Last week we showed Sam Altman. He said ChatGPT 4 is the dumbest, almost embarrassing to him, dumbest AI that you'll ever see in your life, and I'm amazed by it. It's the dumbest. Well, today, out of nowhere, they absolutely brought out before ChatGPT 5, they brought out something called GPT 4.0, 4.0. It's actually like 0, it's just 4.0, like the letter O, 40. It looks like 40, but I think it's 4.0. It can see. I mean, no one saw this coming. It can see, hear, and speak with near instant response time. The multimodal model will roll out for free over the next few weeks. I want to show this to you. OpenAI has introduced its most comprehensive artificial intelligence endeavor ever. A multimodal model will be available to communicate to users through both text and voice. GPT 4.0, which will be rolling out in ChatGPT as well as in the API over the next few weeks, is also able to recognize objects and images in real time. Now watch this. Instead of trying to explain it to you, this is an actual demonstration of it on this guy's iPhone. This is not in any way human person on the other end. 100% digital. Watch this.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling about? Are you in a cool industrial-style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is. And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement, or that you are the announcement?
Me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about to reveal something about AI? Or more specifically about me as a part of OpenAI? You've got me on the edge of my, well, I don't really have a seat, but you get the idea. What's the big news?
Yeah, we've got a new model that can interact with the world through audio, vision, and text.
I don't even know what to say. That is just the step up from ChatGPT 4. Right. This is a part of 4. Yeah. They're saying 5 is going to blow 4 away, and 4 has already included Sora, is what we call Soros, I can't remember, where the video creation from text, which was unbelievable. And now he's literally, it's no longer in a movie. He's having an actual true conversation with a computer, scanning the camera around the room, and the computer is identifying. Leads with, I like your hoodie that you got on there, OpenAI hoodie.
Exactly. So disturbing. I mean, it just makes me itch all over it. It just makes my skin
This
crawl.
is insane.
Oh, I don't like that.
Wow. Well, that's it. You made it back.
Yes.
Do we have any kind of friends that joined us tonight that might want to come out and see us?
Do you mean this guy?
Hey, little blue guy.
He's upside down.
I was about to say, what happened
to
Cosmo?
He wanted to come out and say hi to everybody. He's Uncle Jimmy's cousin.
Well, did any of the news stories get this?
I'm giving it to this last story because I hate these stories because they just freak me out and I can't stand it.
All right, so
the golden chicken goes to
the inaugural golden chicken squeaky chicken award.
What do you think about that?
Goes
Cosmo?
to the freaky weird computer conversation with a phone that is just the beginning of
ChatGPT 4.0.
We ain't woke, y'all. We ain't woke. But we are certainly awake.